So before I go in specifically to talking about the Green Communities Division and the programs and resources that we provide under the division I work at, under the Mass Department of Energy Resources, I just always like to point out the reason that we're putting forth these programs and the major goals and priorities of the Baker-Polito administration. And that is to reduce and stabilize the rising cost of energy for consumers. And the Green Communities Division's focus on that is really helping municipalities with that. And then also the Global Warming Solutions Act and the goals that we have and that we've set out there, and that the programs that we're implementing are helping us reach those goals. And with that being said, on a higher level as well, we have the energy efficiency plans that our agency under Energy Efficiency Division works with the investor-owned utilities, National Grid, Eversource, Unitil, throughout Massachusetts. And the reason I bring these up is I'm sure there's a lot of, obviously all of you are residents, I'm assuming, of Holliston here, and you're hopefully taking advantage of the Mass Save programs, working with the town of Holliston. They work on the commercial side, but they do work with reps from the utilities, and we do have very strong energy efficiency plans and goals. And it might look, what's interesting to me is when you look at the actual stats of 2.94% of electric savings or 1.24%, it doesn't sound like too much to some people, or I've gotten that question before, but when you actually hear 8 billion, it resonates to really how much energy is being consumed and that cost of energy when you're saving it in your town buildings or your homes and different facilities across the town. And then the other thing I always like to point out is with the growing industry on the energy side, there's a lot of jobs being created. The Mass Clean Energy Center always puts out a yearly report of what the job growth is in this industry, and we're up to 69,000 jobs. It's something pretty impressive to see over the past maybe 10 years how it's grown. Now moving on to the Green Communities Division, that's the division I work under. We really serve as the hub for all energy-related issues to all cities and towns. So I will be speaking of a few specific programs today, but I know, sitting here next to Jeff, he reaches out on all different things related to energy in addition to the Green Communities Grant Program, and I hope that continues. I think sometimes communities think and hear most about our Green Communities designation and grant program, so that's really what they see us. That's really what they see our main function is. In a lot of ways that is, but we do deal with a lot of other things within the community related to energy. So the main programs and resources that I'm going to be touching on today is the Green Communities Designation Grant Program, which Holliston is a green community. Mass Energy Insight Tracking and Analysis Tool. This is a web-based energy management tool that helps communities track their energy consumption and is a real main tool in helping them meet one of the criteria that they needed to commit to in becoming a green community. We have a municipal energy efficiency program where we have staff in our division that helps communities with different types of procurement contracts or going out and trying to secure energy savings in that direction. We have a new program. I don't know if you guys have been seeing the affordable access to green energy press releases that's been out by the governor's office in the last couple weeks. I'm going to talk about that. And then we have a Heat Smart Mass, and I'll touch on that as well. Any of the things I talk about, I do use acronyms. I try to be good about explaining what those acronyms are. If I'm not, please ask me. But we also have a lot of tools and guidance documents on our website about all the things I'm going to go over today. And that's a great resource if you have any further information. Need further information. Ooh. I'm getting good at this, so if you need help.
I do.
So when it comes to the Green Community Designation and Grant Program, it's up to $20 million annually that we give out for grant funding. And that grant funding comes from RGGI, which is the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, and alternative compliance payments. So it's out of the state budget. And in order to get into that grant funding and have access to the grant funding, a community needs to be designated a green community. And in order to do that, a community needs to meet 5 specific criteria, which Holliston did. The first 2 criteria really go across zoning. Criteria 3, which will be a big topic of discussion today, is that energy reduction plan. And that's where a community puts together their baseline. I believe Holliston's is FY 2015. And what they do is they create a baseline and see how much energy consumption they're using across municipal buildings, vehicles, and street and traffic lights. And they come up with a plan to reduce that baseline by 20% over 5 years by doing different energy efficiency measures. And then they use, a lot of the times, which we'll talk about as well, they use our grant funds to come in and pay for those measures to be done. Criteria 4 is to purchase only fuel-efficient vehicles. This language that's up here, and I always like to state this, is the exact language that came out of the statute when the Green Communities Act was put forth in 2008. And the reason I say that is I sometimes think criteria 4 is a little misleading. It doesn't mean that we're requiring the community to purchase all new, electric vehicles and so on. What it means is that the Board of Selectmen adopted a fuel-efficient vehicle policy that means as they go to purchase new vehicles, they're going to look at the function of the vehicle and make sure it fits the use for that department and for that employee, as well as the mile per gallon rating. So we really have categories in the fuel-efficient vehicle policy for compact cars, for sport utility, for pickup truck, heavy-duty DPW trucks such as the DPW. Those are exempt. And then criteria 5 is to minimize life cycle costs. I'm sure a lot of you hopefully were at the town meeting where the Stretch Energy Code was passed a few years ago. Thank you for supporting that. That was a crucial part of becoming a designated green community, and that was the recommended way to meet criteria 5. Now, to date, we have 185 green communities. We started the program back in May 2010. That was our first round. We recently had our largest round designated of 30 new green communities. We had the most participation since the first round back in 2010. It was a really good indicator that not only is the program growing, but there still is a lot of interest out there. I'm happy to say in my region of Central Mass, you see a lot of dark green. I had 8 of the 30 new green communities, and it brought me up to 40 green communities in my region. I'd like to say I think all communities will become a green community. I'm not sure, but if I could get all communities in my region to have an energy reduction plan, I always say that would be the big success for me. Now moving on to the grant funding. The way the grants are calculated is once a community becomes a designated green community, they get a designation grant. And the designation grant is based on a formula. Every community designated receives a grant of $125,000, and then additional funding is given out based on per capita and population. So for example, Holliston received a grant amount of $147,455 based on that formula. And I know Jeff's going to cover a little bit of what projects were completed under that grant. Since 2010, we've given out $65 million. A good portion of that grant funding is also through a different funding stream called our competitive grants. So I mentioned that we started a grant program in 2010. We have 185 green communities. From the very beginning, our earlier adopters, and then on, we always said that each community would have future opportunities for grant funding. So in 2012, we started our competitive grant rounds. That's the opportunity for existing green communities that have spent all their grant funds to come in for future grants through a competitive round for grants up. They can submit an application of up to $250,000. So that $65 million in total is a mix between competitive grants and designation grants. To give you a little bit of an overview of how the program's going, to date, we've had 270 grants complete. Of that 270, 121 are designation and 149 are competitive. The total project cost for those 270 grants, and all the projects that are included, is $81.8 million. And the total grant funds out of that $81.8 million is just under $50 million. We always encourage, and I mentioned the Mass Save program, all of our green communities and make sure that they're leveraging all utility funds that are out there. So of that $81.8 million, just over $14 million came from the utility incentives. Projected annual cost savings of that $81 million is $10.7 million, which is roughly about an 8-year payback. And when you're thinking about that 8-year payback, think about the LED lighting conversions that are low paybacks, but also think about the weatherization improvements and some boiler changes to maybe a better heating fuel that can be a longer payback. That's all mixed in there. When you look at it from a greenhouse gas emission perspective, projected annual savings is 316,346 MMBTUs, and then the annual greenhouse gas savings is 28,091. I was asked when I was putting together my presentation and coming here today to kind of give a case study of a successful green community in the program and the savings that they received on their own annual budget. So to date, when it comes to that 20% goal, the town of Sutton has done a phenomenal job. They actually reached their 20% goal in 2013. So they were one of the first rounds of green communities. They were designated back in 2011. They had the opportunity to go back with their baseline year, and they set it for calendar year 2008. And then between 2009 and 2013, they reduced their baseline by 21%. When they reduced it by 21%, what does that mean in dollars saved? It was about $114,000 saved annually off their operating budget. Now, 2013 was a couple years ago. So I do want to say the town has consistently come in for more projects, and they've actually are well into the 30% range of savings now. But we haven't what we call certified that information. So when I say in the 30%, I don't know the exact number. When we went through this process to certify them at 21%, there's a lot of back and forth and making sure that the information was correct. If you look at the graph, you're going to see one of the biggest savings opportunities they had was on the oil side. And one of the reasons is because they replaced their heating systems they have what's called a school complex, and in the middle high school it was their highest user, and they replaced a lot of HVAC controls and their heating system, which gave them a huge savings. There's a little bit of a green mark at the top above the purple, if you see that. That's because they put in solar on one of their schools as well. So they do include that, and we do track that usage because it would still be included in their baseline, but obviously it's a good indicator that they're going in that direction, not just on the energy saving side, but also offsetting with renewables. Some of the other projects they did was interior lighting and exterior lighting, and they put in a heat recovery system at the municipal complex. One thing I do want to point out that the town did is they funded these projects through 2 Green Communities grants along with utility rebates and municipal funds, but to continue with their commitment after reaching the 20%, back in 2013, they also put together an energy efficiency fund, and they committed at a town meeting of putting 3% of they put 3% of their budget toward future efficiency funds. So if they needed to match maybe a project coming through to us, or they had other things that they wanted to do in addition to our grant funds or needed to do, that they had those funds. And they have been consistent, and also like their LED lighting conversion for their streetlights, they put up a lot of the funds to do that. Now, I mentioned affordable access to clean energy. This is a recent program that we put out, and what it means is when we were looking at, on the renewable side, we were looking at moving forward with a new solar incentive program, what was coming up is that on the lower income side, there was less renewables being in place, and that it was an issue that the administration wanted to address. So what they did is they put out affordable access to clean energy. It's going to be a series of grant funding, along with there's also going to be support to the regional planning agencies to try to get the word out, organize information sessions so they can understand the different types of renewables that they could be installing to try to get more renewables to low-income residents. And we recently announced this opportunity in April. The Heat Smart Mass. Show of hands, is who in here is familiar with Solarized Mass, a program that's been going on for about 5 or 6 years? Great. So Solarized Mass is the solar electric side of what Heat Smart Mass is going to be. So Heat Smart Mass is trying to take a similar model like Solarized Mass, working through the municipalities, a bulk buy to save on soft costs for installing it, and putting it towards the heating side of things. So the types of technologies we're looking at are solar thermal, air source heat pump, biomass heating, and ground source heat pumps. And this is going to be a similar model like Solarized Mass. I'm calling it more of a Solarized Mass Plus. And the reason I wanted to mention it is because I know Holliston hasn't taken advantage of Solarized Mass, but this is another option that if the town wanted to do, and if interested residents were out there, it's a good thing to be aware of. And then that's it for me. This is, I always like to point out, this is a snapshot of all different pictures of all different communities that have been designated with their signs. I've been asked the question in the past.
I wanted to just take a moment to acknowledge, I inherited this project. Paul LeBeau was the one who really initiated the first parts of it. And I wanted to recognize and acknowledge Chief Cassidy, our fire chief, is here, and our technology director, Chris Mayo. We also have Andrea Minahan, who is also part of the Green Communities team. And I'm going to get into a little bit of the detail about what we did in the first round of grants. So as Kelly had said, we were designated a green community in 2015. And that was probably in the fall, I think, 2015. And the goals are to reduce energy consumption by 20% in 5 years, as Kelly had mentioned. So one of the questions that I have for Kelly, and I hope you're prepared for this, I know you are, what is an MMBTU?
Million. It's MMBTU is millions of British thermal units.
Got it. Didn't mean to put you on the spot.
I know. I thought you weren't supposed to ask questions.
So the town was using 56,281 MMBTUs of energy during the baseline year, which, as Kelly had indicated, was 2015. 40,026 MMBTUs were used for buildings, 11,355 for vehicles, 491 for traffic lights, 4,288 for our water and sewer pumps and wells, and 121 for our open space areas. The initial grant for 2016 focused on 3 different areas, 3 different buildings. The central fire station, we took and replaced the boiler, the hot water tank, the VFD pumps, which I believe are variable field frequency drives. We also replaced at the central fire station the thermostats, did some insulation work, and also some weather stripping. At Town Hall, which I know all of you have been to probably, and it's kind of a windy place. It can be a little bit drafty in that place, but it's a historic building, and we did the best we could by doing some insulation work and some weather stripping. We also replaced our old light bulbs and replaced them with LED lighting as a retrofit. And then at the police station, we did LED retrofits in phase 1 and phase 2. We had a little bit of extra money reprogrammed to do phase 2. So now the police station is fully, they have all their LED lights. The fire station heating system was installed 2 boilers, 1 indirect water heater, and 2 custom-made circulator pumps. The total cost was $60,874.68. The utilities, Eversource, provides an incentive of $2,887.45. The Green Communities Grant Program funded $57,987.23. And we're forecasting an expected energy savings at the fire station through these efforts at 63 MMBTUs per year. And for those of you who are interested in looking at the actual mechanics of what it looks like, here you go. This is in the basement of the fire station. The fire station thermostats, we replaced 13 Honeywell thermostats. Were installed in the station. Total cost of $1,637.58. Utility incentives provided the program $229.02. Grant funding $1,408.56. The expected savings are 92 MMBTUs per year. The Central Fire Station installation and weather stripping project closed air gaps by pipe, floor gaps in the bell tower, and insulation around windows. Total cost $3,888.46. The utility incentives $543.82. Grant funding $3,344.64, and expected savings of 63 MMBTUs per year. And again, this is what it looked like before, the gaps in the pipes, and then the after product. Town Hall insulation and weather stripping, closed air gaps around pipes, windows, attic doors, and entrance doors. The total cost of $13,060.55. The utilities provided us with an incentive of $2,943.24. The grant through the Green Communities Program provided $10,117.31, with an expected savings, annual savings of 86 MMBTUs. So we're getting up there. And this is what it looked like before, gaps in the pipes and the insulation. So the LED retrofit program at Town Hall, we installed 322 LED bulbs and 21 monitoring and dimming sensors. The cost of $42,893. The utilities provided an incentive of $9,666.07. Grant funding provided $33,226.93. And we're up to expected savings of 117 MMBTUs per year. And this is what it looked like before and after. The police station Phase 1 LED lighting retrofit, we installed 107 LED bulbs and 7 motion sensors, a total cost of $25,976.71. The utilities provided an incentive of $9,835. Grant funding was $25,976.71 with an expected annual savings of 111 MMBTUs per year. Phase 2 of the police station LED lighting retrofit is a little bit smaller, but we finished off this building. We installed an additional 72 LED bulbs and 4 motion sensors, a total cost of $19,285.81. Utility incentives, $2,068.20. Grant funding, $15,217.61. Expected savings of 23 MMBTUs per year. Savings to date. Projects were completed during the 2017 data collection year, which is our current year. The website data entries occur only in January and July, so look forward to getting some posted data in July. Actual savings will not be available until July of 2017, so we have to wait a couple more months yet to actually start tracking our savings. Additional energy saving projects. These are non-grant funded, non-green communities. The town has been committed to doing additional energy upgrades. The schools replaced 11,000 bulbs with LED fixtures in 2016, reduced electrical consumption by 435,291 kilowatt hours per year, which equates to a 13% reduction in their electric consumption annually. They implemented a summer shutdown program. East Holliston Fire Station, in 2016, there were 13 fixtures replaced with LEDs, installed weatherized garage door, and reduced electrical consumption by 50%, or 3,095 kilowatt hours down to 1,531 kilowatt hours per year. So in 2016, the projects and policies resulted in a 5% decrease in usage. And I think this is pretty self-explanatory. So that was the initial designation that we received $147,000 in our initial designation, and that's what we did with the money. We're moving forward now. We prepared a new grant application, and hopefully the Department of Environmental Protection and the Green Energies Program will look favorably upon our next grant application, and we'll get notification if we were awarded in the competitive round in June of this year. So, the Green Communities Competitive Round, which is currently under review at DEP.
DOER.
I'm sorry. Town Hall thermostat replacement, Town Hall boiler and pump replacements, an energy management system for Town Hall, the Senior Center, and Library, Senior Center weatherization and installation. So if anyone's been to the Senior Center, you know how drafty that place can be. And hopefully through the grant, we're going to be able to make all the seniors nice and warm again. Right? Senior Center LED light replacement, weatherization at the library and installation, LED light replacement program at the library, and electric cars and charging stations.
Jeff, if I can just add, so I think one thing that could be helpful is when you look at the list of those projects, that's about a request. I think you guys did a good job trying to get up to the $250,000 for competitive. So I think that request was about, if you look at all these projects for the funding they're looking at on the DOER side, was about $220,000 roughly. Did you have, and then the electric cars on there bring it up to the $250,000. So it's a lot of projects that actually fit under the program when then you leverage the utility funds as well.
Thank you for that clarification. So the town hall thermostat replacement, we're going to replace, or going to install one thermostat in the kitchen, and this is really in the weeds, I know. It's $131.15. Estimated savings from the utilities will be $12.06. The grant will pay for $119.09. The estimated savings is 0.26 MMBTUs, but they keep on adding up. If you keep on adding up. The town hall heating system will install 2 new boilers, 1 indirect water heater, and 5 circulator pumps. Estimated cost of $75,041.59. Estimated utility incentive of $4,399.78. A grant request of $70,641.81. Now, estimated energy savings will be 340 MMBTUs annually. The town energy management system will be to install a energy management system at Town Hall, the Senior Center, the library, and would control 184 data points, thermostats, water temperatures, and boilers. Estimated cost of $79,300 plus an administrative fee. Estimated utility incentive, $21,704.96. Grant request of $63,335.04. Estimated energy savings of 466 MMBTUs. Senior Center weatherization and insulation. Install insulation and weatherization in the walls, the ceilings, the windows, and doors. Estimated cost of $13,884.82. Estimated utility incentive of $1,437.50. Grant request of $12,447.32. Estimated energy savings of 340 MMBTUs. Everyone still awake? I'm getting there. Senior Center lighting. Install 105 LED bulbs and 20 dimmers. Estimated cost of $22,931.40 plus an administrative fee. Estimated utility incentive of $3,608. Grant request of $20,289.40. Estimated annual savings of 49 MMBTUs. Library weatherization and insulation. This is the building we are in right now. Install insulation and weatherization in the walls, windows, and doors. Estimated cost of $6,415.98. Estimated utility incentive of $743.50. The grant request of $5,672.48. Estimated annual savings at the library would be 35 MMBTUs. Library lighting. Install 245 LED bulbs and 4 dimmers. Estimated cost of $30,590.85 plus administrative fee. Estimated utility incentive of $5,172.75. Grant request of $26,689.10. Estimated annual savings would be 70 MMBTUs. Electric vehicle fleet and charging station. Under the grant, we're proposing to purchase 2 Nissan Leaf SVs. What's an SV? SUV.
SV, it's the trim line of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. And we are going to also look at purchasing 2 level 2 charging stations that would be installed in a municipal lot. Charging station, a cost of $6,278.69 from the Electric Vehicle Incentive Program grant. The vehicle cost, these are for 2, $49,226.40, with the additional incentives coming from the Electric Vehicle Program. So one of the things that we need to do is we're trying to encourage the use of electric vehicles, and under this program, the town would have 2 vehicles. One would be available to the building inspector pretty much full-time, and the other would be a pool vehicle that would be available for all departments. And we're looking at the feasibility of placing an electric charging station in the central street public parking lot behind the fire station on Central Street. Everyone knows where that is, I think. So if you have your electric vehicle, you can go there and charge up for free. Okay? So the energy savings, current cars produce 14,118 pounds of CO2 and 25 MMBTUs of energy per year. Cost, this is under the current program, 50 cents per mile to keep on the road. Under the electric vehicle program, it would be reduced, the carbon would be reduced by 2,656 pounds and of CO2 and 4.6 MMBTUs of energy per year, a cost of 42 cents per mile to keep on the road. The estimated savings of 11,462 pounds of CO2 and 20.4 MMBTUs of energy per year. And that's it. Thank you very much for Kelly's assistance. And I wanted to just also compliment, once again, the Green Communities team who really have done all the work. I just take the credit.